In this video, I will give you the final proofs with which I have waited until now, because the moment wasn't there yet to reveal this to you, that Switzerland is the beast, with its inhabitants consciously making the alliance with the forces of evil, while smiling to the entire world for 2000 years now, how neutral, clean, and innocent they are, emphasizing this in all the world's media, so no one will get any other ideas in their heads. And it worked until Homie Ross came around. Found you. Playtime is over. Playtime's over, Swizzy. My mind is academic, and I need proofs and facts for everything. Therefore, I don't believe in God, Jesus, Allah, Mohammed, and the rest of the religious hocus pocus, which doesn't mean that I deny God, Jesus, Allah, Mohammed, and the rest, which the fanatic Bible bangers always immediately throw at me when I don't exactly behave the way one should in certain circles. To deny is when I would say there is no God, Jesus, Mohammed, Allah, and the rest, which I don't, never have, and never will. I just don't believe, that's all. I do believe, though, the pharaohs are here, like the Apple Sin Company on a pyramid here, and I can see it. But I do believe in the, or rather a creation, out of scientific reasons. It has been scientifically proven some years ago that the human DNA is the most complex machine on Earth, and it doesn't change, meaning there is no evolution. The DNA is permanent and final. What I also believe is certain parts out of the book of Revelations, because the mark of the beast through electronic chips in the hand and forehead have become a tragic reality these days. And for my academic mind, this is a fact. I can see it. Plus, that evil is omnipresent and very much based in Switzerland, with their 7 heads of state and 10 ministries. The beast with the 7 heads. Here it says, one of a kind. Switzerland doesn't have just 1 head of state, but 7. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here they are. The government known as the Federal Council is made up of 7 members. It's the only country in the world where they have 7 heads or 7 kings. It says in the book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 9 to 11, that the 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits, there are also 7 kings. Here you can read it. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. So I will show you now here in this video where exactly in Switzerland this place is, with all the proofs as usual. And also the last part here refers to Switzerland. Yeah. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. So you see, there are 7 here, and there's one apart from the 7. This is the 8th king. And even the clock is important, because here is the 7. They do nothing without a reason. And here it says 12 too, but I don't understand why 12. Must be a reason. Maybe it's another verse in some book or whatever. But anyway, the 7 is quite clear, you know. The 7 heads of state, and this is the 8th king here. Why pink? Well, you answer that yourself. I'm not allowed to by the censorship. So, and also this part refers to Switzerland and their criminal Nazi Templar state. And I quote, "The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction." So the 7 Swiss heads of the beast also have the 8th king, who is called the Federal Council's Chief of Staff, and he belongs to the 7. In many pictures you see them together, but he's a little bit apart. So here it says the 7 members of the Federal Council, and so this one is in 2022 Ignacio Cassis, and well, here you got the other ones. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you know this one. There was the Per Set, Set as the god of darkness of Egypt, and Per, it means the house. I made a video about him. So the house of the god of the underworld, Per Set. And well, we all know this symbol here, this Parmelin. It's also from Per, the house. Me, it means pyramid. Me, mer or meru, it means the pyramid in Pharaonic. In, it comes from on. So it means per me on, the house of the pyramid of Osiris. And all pharaohs. And there he is, there's number 8. He's the Federal Chancellor, also called the Federal Council's Chief of Staff. Here's his name, Thorn Herr. Herr, it's like a lord. So this is the 8th. So there are 7, as in the book of Revelations, and there is an 8th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here's number 8, exactly as the book says. He belongs to it, but he doesn't really belong to it. It's exactly how it is. So I'll read it again for you, the last part here. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. But I'm going to show you this now. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. And I will show you in this video where this place is in Switzerland, with all the facts and all the proofs, and you can see it for yourselves. Please excuse me that I haven't told you this before, although I've known this for ages, literally for ages. But the time and moment wasn't right yet, which it is now. Here it says the right time is now. I've explained you the 7 heads, who are the 7 heads of the Swiss Confederacy, who are also 7 kings, because all politicians in the world come out of the nobility in a new horizontal aristocratic rule. But first, something else. It says that the beast rises out of the water. But hey, there is no sea in Switzerland. It is a landlocked alpine base at high altitude on top of the world. Switzerland has a couple of big lakes though, where even big tsunamis happen when parts of the adjacent mountains break loose and create real tsunamis, like the one of 2004 in the Indian Ocean, killing more than 200,000 people. So in Lake Geneva, in the year 563 AD, there was the Taurodunum event, creating a 16-meter high wave in Lake Geneva, killing many and devastating entire towns. And this can happen any moment again. So here you can read about it, the Taurodunum event. I read it for you here a little bit. The Taurodunum event of 563 AD was a tsunami on Lake Geneva, then under the Frankish territory of the Kingdom of Orleans, like Jean of Orleans, you remember? Triggered by a massive landslide which caused widespread devastation and loss of life along the lakeshore. According to 2 contemporary chroniclers, the disaster was caused by the collapse of a mountain side at a place called Taurodunum at the eastern side end of Lake Geneva. It called a great wave to sweep the length of the lake, sweeping away villages on the shoreline and striking the city of Geneva with such force that it washed over the city walls and killed many of the inhabitants. Here you can read here, producing a tsunami up to 16 meters. Oh, that's high, 16 meters. That's, what is it, like a 4-story building or more? That's very high. So you can see some pictures, you can read it all yourself here. So here's Taurodunum in the east, and the tsunami went all the way to Geneva. What do we have in Geneva, folks? Yes, what do we have in Lake Geneva today that would create danger to the entire world when a Swiss tsunami would happen again? Well, the CERN Hadron Collider runs through Lake Geneva, and it would break in two when a big mountain rock would decide to fall into the lake, which might provoke something out of another dimension to rise out of the waters, just as it says in the book of Revelations. So here's the Hadron Collider. It goes further on the map. Here's Geneva, and here it says CERN, and it runs through Lake Geneva. Here's Lake Geneva. The tsunami, it started in 563 AD, more to the right, and it went higher and higher when it came here in Geneva. So here are no mountains, but here are mountains, and here, and of course where the tsunami started and the rock fell off, to the east here, north and east. So here's the Hadron Collider, and this here is the border with France. All this here. I think it is. And here, no, it can't be the border. But anyway, here's Geneva. The border is at Geneva, and so a lot of the Hadron Collider, it goes through France actually. So tsunami in Geneva, CERN. And I guess what will happen, eh? Because at CERN in Geneva, Switzerland, as we all know, they are surpassing the physical boundaries of this earth that might open portals to other dimensions, as speeding up matter up to the speed of light and then smash them against each other, as they do in the Hadron Collider at CERN. These are physical experiments that exist nowhere else in the physical realm of the Earth's nature and are no part of the creation. This is the Wikipedia page of CERN. You can read it all yourself. And here's the logo, and it says 3 6s, and the colors, this is what I wanted to show you. It has the colors blue for the New World Order, or the per het White House of Pharaoh, and it has blue for the war, representing the war crown of Pharaoh. You can see it in big, the war crown of Pharaoh, and the white for the white crown, standing for the per het of Upper Egypt. And of course there are 4 letters for the concept of 4, and there are circles here. The circles are part of 6s, and the circles stand for the compass, so it does say square and compass. And the whole thing is of course in a square, in a blue square. So always the same ones behind it. Also, an earthquake might break CERN's Hadron Collider in Lake Geneva, as we had a 4.8 seism last week on September the 10th, here in the east of France, next to the Swiss border. So I am like here, next to the town of Colmar, and here's Geneva. You can see that here. And all this here, it says Switzerland. This is Switzerland. And here's the Hadron Collider running through the Lake Geneva. So this one here might have been the one that made it happen, eh? That could have made it happen. And so here you can see it, France earthquake today, magnitude 4.8 earthquake at France-Switzerland border, September the 10th, 2022 on this channel here. And here you can see the date. It was uploaded on September the 10th, 2022. You can read some more about it. So the danger is there. It might break because of an earthquake. It felt like sitting on a tractor. That much my chair was shaking. And in 2003, we had a 7.9 shake here in Alsace. And I couldn't stand up anymore. And I had to sit down on the floor. So here you can read it. It's on YouTube, this channel here, Extreme Weather. Alsace is shaking, 4.8 magnitude earthquake hits France and Switzerland 10 days ago. This Saturday, September the 10th, a magnitude 4.8 earthquake shakes the northeast of France and Switzerland. Hey son, that can happen, eh? Here you can read some more about it here. Earthquake. The quake surprised an entire region in 3 countries, a magnitude 4.8 earthquake, whose epicenter was located on the Franco-Swiss border. That's where I am. According to the National Seismic Monitoring Network, RENES, happened this Saturday, September the 10th, at the end of the afternoon. So here's a lot of newspaper articles which I can't open because I refuse to take their cookies. So that's why I had to show it to you on YouTube. And so forth. It seems to me that every time there's a dry and hot summer, like 2003 and now 2022, the earth starts to shake, probably due to the drought in the lower layers of the earth. Now the time is ripe to finally reveal to you where the only place in the world is where there are the 7 hills that are also kings at the same time. Have a big lake next to it with a woman sitting on it. And that place is of course in Octagon, Switzerland. The name of the 7 hills are the 7 Kurfürsten in Swiss German. And you can do them in one day, you see, hiking. So that means there are hills, because compared to each other, which you can see here, they're like hills. It's like 100 meters, like altitude difference, like a hill. If you go all the way down, it's like 2.5 kilometers. Then it's a mountain. But there are hills, you see. And Chur, it comes in German, you say Kurfürsten. And Chur or Kur in High German, it means to elect, which we can still find back in Afrikaans today in South Africa. I'll show that to you later on. And Fürsten in High German, that's Fürsten, Fürst. Ein Fürst, that means an emperor, a lord, a king. So these mountains, they are kings as well, like in the book of Revelations. Yeah, this is what they say about it. Is Snow White waiting behind the 7 mountains? Well, I just told you, you can walk them in one day, so they're not mountains, they're hills. compared to each other. It's like 100 meters difference, not even that. The 7 Churfirsten, it says 7 Churfirsten peaks, are as magical as a fairy tale, and the children of Toggenburg know what each of them is called. From east to west, Gaserhoek, 2,000 meters. Hinterhoek, 2,300 meters. Schiebenstoll, 2,200 meters. Zustoll, 2,200 meters. Brizi, 2,279 meters. Frumsel, 2,263 meters. Zeloen, 2,200 meters. Trails lead to each of them. Well, you see, it's not even 100 meters different. It's like 40 meters or 30 meters different. They're hills. They're not mountains. If you walk them, there's like hills. The 7 hills, who are also 7 kings. From the book of Revelations. Here it is, people. Churfirsten in Swiss German, or Kurfürsten in High German, or like here in Old German, Kurfürstlichen, Kurfürsten, which is written the same way as in Swiss German, and this like with the umlaut like in High German. And this is Old German, the German of that time, yeah? So Kurfürsten is a reference to the 7 imperial Prince Electors of the Holy Roman Empire, which you can see here, which was a German empire from the year 800 to 1806, and of which Switzerland was part of for hundreds of years, although Switzerland at the same time was an independent state from its foundation in 1291 onwards. But due to the internal strife within the aristocracy between the feudal vertical and the new republican horizontal rule, the Swissies had to adapt the new situation sometimes for longer periods, in which the Templars of Switzerland had already become true masters in behaving like a chameleon, changing colors from the outside only because of the incessant threats of the feudal kings, and notably the King of France. This is how Switzerland has become this alleged neutral, innocent, clean state, hiding its true nature to the entire world. It's a little bit like today, with the European community. Like Switzerland is so-called neutral and so-called not making part of the European community while they're in the middle of it, and having the same laws like the Schengen rules and all this. And this was the same in the Holy Roman Empire. It's the same thing going on. So here the 7 Prince Electors, or the Kurfürsten, or in Swiss German like the mountains, the Churfirsten. Here it even says again Chur, which is pronounced Kur in German and Chur in Swiss German. This is the old German way to write it, and here's Fürst. This is an S, it's almost like the SS, runic. And so this is the reference of these mountains, who are at the same time the 7 kings. This guy really is a king, the King of Brandenburg. And I think these are some dukes and all this, but and these are the 3 are ecclesiastical kings, so to speak, and the nobility, they all come, the church, they all come out of the nobility, and these 4 here, they are worldly leaders. So these are church leaders and these are worldly leaders. So we get here 3 and 4. which is a concept of 3 and the concept of 4. So it does say square and compass. And 7 altogether, it's the holy number of the pyramid, which I already explained to you. This one even has almost a Templar's cross in it. These, of course, lions, it's the nobility. Here's an eagle or maybe a double header, I don't know. And it's all the nobility. And here in the middle is, of course, the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, which was a German empire, actually, with only a little bit of the north of Italy in it. And yeah, here it says again, the Kurfürsten, like the mountains. So here you got your Revelation, eh? The book of Revelation, here you got it. It's really hard to find anything on it in English. So this is in German. It says the election of the king. And here it says the 7 Kurfürsten, like the mountains, hey? And there are 3 ecclesiastical ones and 4 worldly ones. You know, like the king of Brandenburg. And here's some dukes and all this. And these are like cardinals and whatever. So, and it says here the Pope was not included in the election of the King of the Holy Roman Empire. And again, the numbers 3 and 4, you know, square and compass. So here it says in English about the Prince Electors. In German here it says German Kurfürst or Kurfürsten. And you just saw it in Old German, it's written with CH, just like in Swiss and just like the mountains, which really is a reference to the hills being at the same time 7 kings, just like in the book of Revelations. So you can read it yourself here. And here it says, you know, the Electoral College is known to have existed by 1152. But it's, oh, okay, anyway. A letter written by Pope Urban IV suggests by immemorial custom 7 princes. So you see, even the ecclesiastical ones, they are princes. So it's really a 7 kings, because the whole, you know, the whole church, both the Catholic Church as the Protestant Church, it all comes out of the nobility. So even here, the Archbishop of Mainz, the Archbishop of Trier, the Archbishop of Cologne, they're all princes. So the 7 princes had the right to elect the king and future emperor. The Pope wrote that the 7 electors were those who had just voted in the election, so they kept the Pope out of it. So, you know, it's already going in the way of the New World Order and Protestantism. Whereas actually many believe that the only Christian religion is the Catholic religion, which is like the religion and really connected to the aristocracy. But it is a bit strange because, I mean, the Archbishop, it's all Catholic, so but they're all like, you know, taken over in the other camp, like. So the 3 ecclesiastical electors, the Archbishop of Mainz, interesting symbol, the Archbishop of Trier, and the Archbishop of Cologne. Looks like the Teutonic Knights, eh? And then 4 secular electors, the King of Bohemia, and the Count Palatine of the Rhine, the Palatines, remember, Obama is from there, and Trump, his father, the Duke of Saxony, and the Margrave of Brandenburg. It also says the King of Brandenburg in some places. Like it has a crown on the eagle's or the bird, the falcon's head. It's a falcon. And so 3 and 4. The concept of 3 and the concept of 4. So, you know, it's already going the direction of New World Order here and the and Freemasonry, with the Pope being avoided and was not in it. interesting period. So maybe because you know, the religion was here already taken over, you know. So maybe also because of that, you know, it's been talked about in, like in the Bible, you know, because here the religion is already going sideways, you know, and of course completely taken over by the nobility. Oh, here it says the Elector of Mainz was always a Roman Catholic, and Cologne a Roman Catholic, except Hermann V von Wied, he was Lutheran, and the Elector of Bohemia was usually a Roman Catholic. The Elector of Brandenburg was also the Duke of Prussia. Hey, Mr. Putin, the Duke of Prussia, hey? And a Roman Catholic, and then he became a Lutheran, and then became Reformed. And, well, you read it yourself. Anyway, there's seven princes, 7 kings, yes? The hills that are also 7 kings. A lot of interesting coat of arms by the nobility. And so here it says again in German, also Wikipedia, Kurfürsten. Yeah. And it says, ein Kurfürst war einer der ursprünglich 7 ranghöchsten Fürsten des Heiligen Römischen Reiches. 7, it means 7. There's 7 of them. And here you can see them. There's another picture. So 3 ecclesiastical and 4 secular, like ordo seclorum, like on the dollar. That's the word secular is coming from that. There's some other pictures. Oh yeah, this is in Mainz, the 7 kings. And here also some in Nuremberg, the church. And every day at 12 o'clock, it says, the 7 princes, they, you know, they go around here. It's turning here when it's 7 o'clock. So important era. 7 around it, you know. The way he's looking, eh? With the Templars cross around his neck, eh? Or the Maltese cross. You know, if you don't understand history, you're never going to understand anything what's going on today, eh? So, well, you can read it yourself. Kurfürsten. The 7 Swiss hills were also 7 kings. There's no other place in the entire world where you can find that, eh? And there are more connections, which I'm going to show you. And here it says in German, alle 7 Kurfürsten or Churfirsten, referring this time to the mountains here. 7, it's 7, it's almost the same word, eh? And alle, it's all. If you take the E away, it says all 7 Churfirsten, referring to the mountains, and the same word as I've shown you just before, referring to the 7 Prince Electors, or in fact 7 kings. So in German, the name is Kurfürsten for the Swiss Churfirsten, and gave name to the most famous street in Germany, the 3.5 kilometers long Kurfürstendamm in Berlin, also called the Kudamm. So here it says the Kurfürstendamm, also called Kudamm, is one of the most famous avenues in Berlin, well, in the whole of Germany, I tell you. The street takes its name from the former Kurfürsten, the Prince Electors. Now there they are again. There you are. Of Brandenburg. And Brandenburg, one of the King of Brandenburg, which is part of Berlin, well, he was one of the 7 Prince Electors, so that's why the street is there. The broad, long boulevard can be considered the Champs-Élysées of Berlin and is lined with shops, houses, hotels, and restaurants. In particular, many fashion designers have their shops there, as well as several car manufacturers' showrooms. So it's an expensive, very famous street in the whole of Germany, where all the tourists go and all this. And you can see all the luxury boutiques, you know, Chanel, Cartier, you know, whatever, Rolex, Saint Laurent. Right? So you've got an idea. It's still the same stuff. It's all about kings and princes, and the shops, well, they're still marked by this. And of course, the princes and the princes of Prussia and all that, they'll still visit it, of course. Kurfürstendamm, Kudamm. The word Fürst in German means an aristocrat or an aristocratic ruler or a lord or an emperor. And the word Kur means to select or choose, as still being used in the Afrikaner word koring in South Africa. I hope I pronounced that right. It's too long ago since I've heard Afrikaans, and I was still a child, you know, so I think pronounced something like koring or koring. I'll show it to you in a minute. Maybe somebody can help me. So here's about the etymology in German, and here it says Kurfürst, like the Kurfürsten, and of course Fürst, it means the German king, the Deutsche König, einer der Fürsten, die berechtigt waren, den deutschen König zu wählen. And here's some more about the etymology. Yeah, here's Kur and Kur. And here it says in NL, I think that's Dutch, Netherlands. It says Kor, like in South African, which is like Kurfürsten, you know. Also Swedish, it says Kor and Kur. And even in Anglo-Saxon, there's the old word sire or kire. Don't know how to pronounce that. And here in German, auserkoren, it means the chosen ones, like God's chosen people or something. They say auserkoren. You see, there's the part kor or kur, like in Kurfürsten. So they are selected. So, yeah, auserkoren, it means selected, chosen, the chosen people, you know. And here's some more. It's the etymology in German about the word Kurfürsten. Most German people don't even know what it means. And certainly not the Swiss. And here it says in Afrikaans for the word here, koring. Here it says koring, it means selection, testing, like selecting the king. The core, like this part here, core. The Kurfürsten, it's the same origin, and it means the same. So, Churfirsten means the imperial Prince Electors, who might be even so-called minor kings, like here in 1340, the King of Bohemia being one of the 7 Churfirsten or Kurfürsten, or the 7 hills that are also 7 kings, where also the clergy are being considered as kings, as all the archbishops being the Churfirsten or Lord Electors of 1340. Here there are again 3 ecclesiastical ones and 4 secular ones. And here it says, the imperial Prince Electors, left to right, the Archbishop of Cologne. The part arch, in fact, it comes from the Greek archos, and it means to rule, like Joan of Arc, arc-en-ciel in French. It means a rainbow, in fact, because arc is also a bow. Arc de Triomphe, you know, the thing in Paris, which is it means the triumph of ruling, Arc de Triomphe. So the second one here is the Archbishop of Mainz, Archbishop of Trier, Count Palatine here. The Duke of Saxony, the Margrave, Mar, it comes from Mer, and it means pyramid in Demotic language, and grave, so the grave of the pyramid, or the grave in the pyramid of Brandenburg. And here the King of Bohemia, and this is from 1340. As I've told you many times, all popes, cardinals, and archbishops come out of the nobility, considered being the kings of religion by the aristocracy, as I've shown you here in this video about the Alsatian Pope Leon, whose parents were the Count and Countess living in a castle. Catholicism belongs to the old world order, feudal vertical nobility, whereas Protestantism belongs to the republican horizontal New World Order, Knights Templars, and their Freemasons. So here it says Pape, it means Pope in French. Alsatian, you know, in English it's just a T and an A. It means the great Alsatian Pope, Saint Leon IX. His real name was Bruno de Gisheim. It means he's of the nobility, like von in German. Fils du Comte, it means the son of a count, and of Hugues IV, and Heilwige de Dabo. You can't read it here, but you have to, yeah, you can read it. It's just the Heil, like, or you know, Heilwige de Dabo. De, again, you know. So, nobility, you know, just like the 7 Prince Electors. So you can see this here, my video from this year, June, the 14th of June 2022, on my channel Gure. The title, Catholicism belongs to Pharaoh's vertical rule, Protestantism is by the Templars horizontal rule. The concept of 3 and 4, just like the 7 Prince Electors. It's all by Pharaoh, people. That's why normally Catholics hate Freemasons, because Freemasons represent the new horizontal rule and enemy of the old vertical rule of ancient kings and their Catholic religion. But well, nowadays the Vatican and the Catholic religion have been infiltrated by the Freemasons anyway. How could it be else with a Swiss god out of the Alpine octagon and base of the Knights Templars and their Freemasonic political wing? These 7 Swiss apocalyptic hills of the 7 kings are very high and over 2,000 meters in altitude. But when standing on them, they are like hills with hardly 100 meters difference in height. So here you see them, all 7 are here. Zaloen, 2,204 meters. Frumsel, 2,263 meters. Only 60 meters difference. That's a hill. Breezy, 2,279 meters. It's only 70 meters difference with this one. Tuschstol, 2,235 meters. No difference. Schiebenstol, 2,234 meters. Hinterrug, 2,306 meters. And Gazerhoek, 2,262 meters. Now, compared to each other, they're like hills. And Churfirsten, that's the name of the king of kings. The kings that are hills. You could say they are 7 hills on top of a mountainous ridge. And below the 7-hill ridge, there is a big lake called the Walensee, meaning the lake of the whales. Maybe a whale with 7 heads, huh? Anyway, must be a deep lake if they can fit a whale in there. So this is the lake of the whales, Walensee. In German they call a lake the sea, ein See, and the sea they call das Meer. And here you can see the 7-hill mountain ridge from another angle. And so these are the 7 hills who are also 7 kings from the book of Revelation. Everything is here. The only place in the world. So here you can see Walensee, the lake. You see See like sea, it's the other way around. Walensee, the lake of the whales. And here is Walenstadt, the town of the whales. Maybe that the ships here, the whale catchers. And here it says Churfirsten, after the 7 Prince Electors who were kings and who selected a new king. So here's the 7-hill mountain ridge, like in the book of Revelations. And here you can see the 7-hill kings once more. You see, there's 7 of them. And they're like hills compared to each other. And here's the lake of the whales. It's a picture like straight out of a James Bond movie. You know, clean, rich Switzerland with a lot of evil rulers, just like in the James Bond movie. This is where Putin has his money, where all the dictators, all the drug dealers, all the mafiosi, aristocracy, you name it, mafia, they all have their money here. Just like in the James Bond movie, with the snow and all. And so picturesque, isn't it now? And here, once more, here's the lake, Walensee, and here are the 7-hill mountains, who are also kings. And the name of the kings is Kurfürsten, in German, of the Holy Roman Empire, which in fact still exists. And on these 7 hills used to be sitting an almost mythical woman, after whom the whole area is being named. And this woman is an international reference to Switzerland. So here you can see the mountains, the 7 hill mountains. And here it says, Heidi, every little girl's favorite story. You know, nice. And she has a pet animal and lovely mountain. And look how it's clean. And she has cats and rabbits and a rainbow. Isn't it lovely? This is how they do it, people. They indoctrinate our children, like every little girl's favorite story, about how clean and neutral and innocent this country is. Octagon in the Alps. So when these children, they grow up, it's the same with all these, you know, fairy tales about princes and princesses in castles. And when the girlies, when they grow up, they still believe it, you know, because in their minds, in their blank minds, you know, where there was nothing in it yet, a little girly, you know, that got punched in their minds and hearts, you know, what a lovely place that is in the mountains, like, and nobody will think any harm of it, you know, like, honi soit qui mal y pense. Nobody will think harm of it. And the woman in those days, sitting at the Alm is this, on top of the mountains, that's the Alm. And she was sitting at the Alm on top of the 7 hill kings. She was still a child, but the child has grown up now, especially in the mythical, symbolical sense of her being. And her name is Heidi. So here you can read it. Day trip to Heidi Land and Liechtenstein. The highlights of this amazing adventure tour are Switzerland's incredible diversity and a visit to the locations featured in the world-famous children's book Heidi. Well, how dare you indoctrinate our innocent children with this, with these lies? And I'm going to prove to you, this woman who wrote, Johanna Spiri, who wrote the book, she had really evil connections. The whole thing is evil, you know. So here's the lake of the whales. Here are the 7 king hills here, the Kurfürsten, or Kurfürsten. And here you can read more about it here. Yeah. Well, you can read this yourself here, but here it says, the alternative program during the winter months takes in the village of Wernberg a fabulous world of mountains, valleys, lakes, waterfalls and gorges. Isn't it beautiful? The route back to Zurich leads along Lake Walen, the Lake of the Whales, at the foot of the majestic Churfirsten mountain chain. There they are, the hills who are kings. How many more proofs do you need? Wakey, wakey. So here it is. Show you a nice picture. Here, Walensee Lake. It says double lake because See is already lake. Oh, isn't it beautiful and so clean? And the whole world believes this because we all saw it when we were children. And we never forgot it because we had our blank minds. There was nothing in it yet. They engraved this in our minds. They shoved it down our throats. Here, Heidi's house. Oh, look at here. It's the mountain range, the 7 hill kings. This is from the book. Here, Heidi lived, and all the Japs are going, all the tourists, and taking pictures, and Americans. Oh, isn't it lovely? Oh, it's like going back into my youth, visiting the Heidi house. Oh, isn't it nice? Yeah. Yeah. Look now. Here are the mountains. Here, Heidi und Peter. Oh, what a lovely story, eh? Oh, look, she's sitting on top of the 7 hills. Believe me now. Here, look, Heidi Land. They call the whole stuff here Heidi Land. Here, the 7 hill mountains here. This is the Honserhoek waarschijnlijk, most probably. I'm talking German here. Yeah, Rapperswil Castle. Yeah, of course, they have to show a castle. Yeah, why not? And one of the Russian oligarchs is here, Khodorkovsky. Big criminal, big time criminal. He's pretending to be against Putin now. Maybe he never even was in prison. Who knows, you know? Just taking care of Putin's money in Switzerland. You know, everything is a lie, you know, you never know. And yeah, show you this picture again. The there. Yeah, the Valence. It must be very deep. Look, it looks very deep. Enough to put to fit a whale or two in there, you know. Or maybe 7 with 7 heads. And the land of the 7 hill kings is officially called Heidi land. The land of Heidi, an international acknowledged symbol for Switzerland and the Alps, with its 7 hill kings. With their CERN, Davos, WEF, World Economic Forum, the enslavement of humanity, the Swiss Haldeman dynasty, and their connecting a human brain to a computer with a chip in their head, right out of the book of Revelations, and also connected to Heidiland and its 7 hill kings, with their United Nations and Red Cross gangsters in Geneva, and all nations traded with her Swiss banks. Swissy, playtime's over now. Here, Swissy, read this very, very well with your Heidi land. Swissy, read this. Playtime's over now. You're here. And I told you many times that Switzerland is feminine, like La Suisse in French or Die Schweiz in German, because of the sisters of Isis, Suis, Sœur d'Isis, short Heidi land. Okay, Heidi was a 5-year-old child in the book, but she has grown up now and rules the world. And here you can see in the picture our children sleeping after having been indoctrinated with that Heidi political indoctrination of a clean, neutral, and innocent Switzerland. Remembering this all their lives, until they have grown up. And this story of Heidi is hiding the true face of the beast with the 7 heads in this horrendous horror story. And under the 7 hill kings there is an occult temple called the Baxmal. It is Baxmal. Where next to the temple and its apocalyptic 7 hills to be seen in the background, in the city of the whales or Walenstadt, the dreadfully innocent Heidi open-air musical is being performed, visibly dancing and celebrating in the very same style as the satanic Swiss tunnel ritual of the Saint Gotthard. Heidi's creepy open-air musical with the apocalyptic 7 hill kings behind. Another creepy Swiss ritual straight out of the book of Revelations. And where many Swiss neo-Nazis come and enjoy the show in their Heidiland base of the Nazi Templars. Well, let's hope the whale in the Lake of Wales, Walensee, gets hungry and eats the creepy Heidi dolls and the entire horror country with it, together with their 7 hill kings. So watch this name here, Johanna Spiri. And she married Bernard Spiri, an employee. When she was 25, they met when they were children. They lived in Zurich, Switzerland, and had only one child, a son, Bernhard Diethelm Spiri, in 1855. In Zurich, they were friends with the musician Richard Wagner. And here she is, Johanna Spiri, standing with the Grail. Yeah. And I know, as I've been telling you in my first film, The Pharaoh Show, already 12 years ago on YouTube, that the Grail is the symbol of Pharaoh, which means our blood is here, our descendants are here. And this is the joining. I've shown that as well. You know, that means we're all together. You know, it consists of several parts. It says one for all and all for one. So I know this woman, you know, she's part of the elite and part of Pharaoh. I mean, there's no doubt. So Johanna Spiri was the author of Heidi in the 19th century. And she was a close friend of Richard Wagner, the favorite Nazi composer and active jaywalker hater living in Switzerland. So Johanna Spiri, the author of Heidi, the girl on the 7 hill kings, was in the Wagner group, so to speak, that popped up recently again, with its leader, the Swiss sleeper agent, President Vladimir Putin, who has all his money in Switzerland, where his charming little family lives in Geneva. His wife, Alina Kabayeva, with their 2 little Putin kids. From the Swiss Heidi, circle closed, and back to Switzerland in the actual situation. I guarantee you that the Wagner Group belongs to the octagon of Switzerland and their banks, in the very style of the notorious Swiss mercenaries under Nazi Templar command. And the Swiss Nazi Templar Wagner Group will attack Russian civilians very soon, just as they have already done, attacking Ukrainian civilians and killing them and torturing them, and just as they have already done with normal Russian soldiers, because the Wagner Group is not Russian at all. They are Swiss octagon of the Teutonic Knights, just as their leader, whom you can see here, who is called the Black Prince by the Swissies. Just like the French Foreign Legion, another mercenary group that was also founded by the Swiss octagon in 1831, with its first commander, the Swiss aristocratic Baron Colonel von Stoffel. So here's the list of commanders of the Foreign Legion. And all these mercenary groups, it all comes out of Octagon, Switzerland, and their Nazi Templars. And it's all related to Heidi, who was a personal friend, the author of the Nazi composer Richard Wagner, and the Wagner Group and everything, you know. Here it says April the 1st in 1832. There was the first commander of the Foreign Legion here, the commander of the Old Legion. It was Baron Christoph Anton von Stoffel, a Swiss baron, yeah, here from Switzerland. And this is because Switzerland was founded by the Nazi Templars. And the same of the Wagner Group, you know, and Putin. It all boils down to Switzerland. Hey, Swissy, ain't that so? Yeah, look, there are many Wagner groups in the world. Here's one. And here, the Wagner Group of New South Wales. It's everywhere. Wagner Group in Queensland. Why do they put the Q like this? Because this is the Order of the Garter. We know that now. The Wagner Society of Washington. Everywhere. They're all Wagner groups. They all have these funny ideas probably. Yeah, there's more. Yeah, the Royal Wagner stuff. The Wagner Group of Southern California. All this pharaonic stuff in it here. The Triangle Wagner Group of North Carolina, of course, you know, this is the concept of three, you know, pyramid. Everywhere, lots of Wagner groups all over the world. And don't you think they're not connected with the idea, hey? Don't you think that? Switzerland, the Octagon in the Alps, also called Heidi Land by the Swiss and the insiders, is an incredibly creepy place where the evil of this world is bundled, concentrated and centralized, weighing heavy on humanity's shoulders as the weight of the 7 king hills of the apocalypse. It's all there in Heidi Land, the clean and innocent monster, the monster doll of 7 times king of neutrality. How big do you think the chances are to find these 7 hills relating to 7 kings, with a woman sitting on it, and with a lake next to it called the Lake of Wales, out of which the monster might rise, if not the other lake next to Cern, Geneva? Please forgive me that I'm not religious enough for most of you, or for not being religious at all. For I have only one religion, which is called crush the evil. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction.